Hello, this is Nathan, better known as CrazyhermitDM, and this is my podcast, The Hermit's Homebrew. Joining me today is Brent from Langeministudio that can be found on Instagram, as well as Kilk, who can be found on TikTok as well as Twitter.
All right. So, last time we just played yesterday, actually.
Yeah.
Last time we played, I'm so used to that with our game sessions. So Gilvickle had left the party the session before. The group had taken off on Muspelheim Firehair,
Firejack,
hairback. I guess not horseback. As I
Yeah.
put it. And then like the session before, we were down to like half a group or whatever, but we went and like had a very in-depth theological talk. And we talked about that on some of the previous episodes with when Nick was joining us, just kind of and it was an overdue conversation in my opinion, because everybody kind of been running around point A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
And no one really talked about, okay, what are we doing here? What are the pros and cons of helping this person, that person, and that? Because Vicky was feeling kind of a little bit like that person that was kind of like more tagging along at that point, and she's like, I'm not even quite sure who we should help here.
Yeah.
Well, I think that now we're at that point
A
to
recap
where
session basically is what it kind of ended up being.
kind of, yeah, it was
And
more
that's
like
always a good
a
thing to have. I feel like.
what my dad would call a come to Jesus meeting.
Yeah.
Was we sat down because at first, like in the first part of the campaign, we were now just reactionary. Holy cow, we just got here. Oh, this is happening. We have to react to that. Oh, this is happening. We have to react to that.
Yeah.
We have to go do this to react to that. Well, now we're in a position of power, and now we're actually in a position of making a choice. And so now that's the hardest thing to do sometimes is to make that choice. And so this conversation was definitely overdue. And we talked about a lot of like kind of heavy topics and why are we even doing certain things?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, that's actually a really fantastic. Yeah. So that's fantastic to talk about.
I imagine that recap sessions are probably awesome to have.
Yeah.
Like literally a whole session of, hey, we just need to sit down
Yeah.
and war council.
Yeah,
for,
decompress and
like an hour.
Yeah.
And it's normal. I mean, you
Mhm.
watch
Oh, yeah.
live, very long live, like Critical Role type live
Mhm.
plays or whatever. Every so often they have those sessions where it's a shopping session, or they're like, okay, we're in a tavern and we just went through 10 sessions of shit.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
decompress for a moment and talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole decompress thing to where if you're just going, you're gonna snap.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, with you being in the military, sometimes when soldiers are out, in combat, they would do like, oh, hey, we're gonna pull you back, we're gonna put you in a rear area,
Yeah.
get some R&R, get some hot chow, get some, check my medical, call your family, so they'll go for like a week or two of like nothing, and then okay, let's try to rotate you back, because you don't want them to freaking snap and
You got to keep that morale.
Yeah, get that morale.
At least at a
yeah.
baseline.
Yeah.
Right? You don't
Yeah.
want it to fall below.
Yeah,
that
you don't want to get critical. Yeah.
But then last night, because that was 2 sessions ago.
Yep.
We got to the Wandering Emporium from the Descent to Avernus. I didn't change. I've changed some things from the canon book or whatever for Forgotten Realms to fit our thing. I did change Mahadi or whatever a slight bit, but he's mostly stayed the same. You'd kind of, what was it? I know you've seen the TV series or whatever, The Magicians. I kind of base, except for the darker first season part of it, I kind of based him on Renard the Fox.
Oh, I hate this guy now.
Yeah.
Well, because of what Renard did in the
He's
Magician.
already a demon,
He-
like
he-
Mahadi. Do we really
Renard-
not want to hate him?
Well, spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen The Magicians, unfortunately.
Well, it's been years.
He
so.
assaults a woman in that TV series, unfortunately, but he plays a good villain.
And you're right. He's a good villain, and it made us hate him.
Uh-huh.
But my whole part of that was, okay, can you stop showing it over and over and over again on last time on The Magicians?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, it's a 5-minute scene of this
But-
guy assaulting her. It's like, can
So-
you move on?
So yeah, we
Jesus.
met Mahadi. We got into the Wandering Emporium.
Yep.
He kind of pulls out these journal contracts and very
Only
straightforwardly.
like 2 people read.
Yeah, and it's very straightforward. Of
Well, this
'cause
was
he's-
the second time Toy Bar's been in contract talks in
Yeah.
this campaign. The first time was with Minos.
Yeah, I'm
Oh,
surprised.
yeah.
that-
And you and I
I'm
sat there
surprised
for
your
like 20
spectacles
seconds.
we
didn't
shark
come
we
out.
Shark Tanked that.
Yeah,
Like,
we did.
Okay, you want some equity? And
And
I
it
was
was
like,
so funny because
I went
for
10%
Toy Bar, it
of
was
the-
really just for fun. Like he never had any intention of like coming back and like taking over.
Yeah.
No, I by the end of that particular session, I'm just like, man, I've been watching way too much Shark Tank. But
it was good. Yeah,
inspiration
Toy Bar
comes from
always had
interesting
every
places.
intention of just giving it to Minos.
but he is
Oh, really?
he is a demonic being, so he's laying out this contract or whatever. And he's like, hey, this basically just says behave yourself, no spellcasting, no fighting. This is my place. This is the accommodations I have. Everyone will get along.
Yeah, and it's an interesting concept because he was the Rakshasa, right?
Yeah.
So he's a demon himself, so my thing as a player, and I'm like, he's having us sign basically demonic contracts
Yep.
to say that we'll just be cool while we're in there, and we're not going to do anything, or bad things will happen to us.
Yep.
But what is he getting out of it besides money? And maybe that's all he's looking for with this Wandering Emporium.
Well, one of the weird things that when Merrick was talking to Mahadi was just kind of like, he recognized that Merrick is now the Makir of Onslaught, and anti-deserter. He saw that almost instantly and was like, oh, just to let you know, I'm still cool. I'm still down. I'm down for the cause. I'm like,
oh, okay.
And that
okay.
Oh, that was
so
when I went to take my daughter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
To her mom's.
And Mahadi was like, yeah, like, Surt's back. I know he's back. I know who you are. You and I are cool. I'm still loyal. This guy. Oh, I don't know how to take that. Okay, cool.
Right. And that was
And-
really cool on your part.
Yeah.
Having Mahadi know
Oh,
who we were.
No things. Yeah.
Immediately about us. Right? Like Toy Bar doesn't know he's a Faffy.
Yeah.
And he has no idea. I haven't even done, because Nick wasn't at the last session, I didn't do the Shakti. I didn't create my Shakti because it's going to come in a moment of intense
emotion. Intense emotion, yeah.
And because Nick wasn't there, I took the more passive route. So I haven't even created it yet. And
do you have any idea what it's going to look like? Or
no, not yet.
It's going to be like a in the moment type of thing?
Probably.
No, and then was it we discussed before the session, was it the Valfi or based after a Spelljammer race called the Rhaegar? And
Rhaegar, yeah.
Yeah, I'd figure out what I'd change the name from.
Yeah, the Vafi seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
Toy Bar doesn't really know how to take it.
Yeah.
But he's also not somebody that like keeps his stuff secret.
No.
So like he just sat down next to the necromancer chick and was like, "Hey, I'm a Vafi apparently. You know what that is? That's crazy." And it was interesting because Toy Bar never felt that Minos was ever going to try to get over on him, right?
No.
He trusts Minos implicitly, but it was more for fun. Like, this is my last fun thing I get to do with Minos before I go off on adventure.
Into literal hell.
Yeah. And I felt like both Minos and Toy Bar were, as characters, not trying to step on each other's feet in this negotiation and have that feeling of, I'm not trying to take advantage of you. Oh, I'm not trying to take advantage of you.
Right. So yeah, we that was awesome. It was really fun.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And I think I'd even told you this, that when we got to the Mage Council, I never really got to role play, but I had a letter written out that I ended up just saying, "Hey, I need you to send this letter." But if I had decided to like give it to you as the DM,
yeah,
and like read through it, it was literally Toy Bar saying, "Hey, thanks for everything. I'm signing away all my rights to the Wild Ram to you, even though we went through this."
I think on Discord we went through the general. What's the general overview of this letter?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it.
Because I remember you telling me that part.
Yeah,
I don't think you actually had like a prop on hand of you writing this out.
I had it written out on my computer.
Oh, nice.
And if I felt that it was going to be one of those moments where like Toy Bar was going to read it to the group or something, or if he had to read it to the wizard before he would like give his stamp on its sign, because he's a student now. So it was literally said, "Hey, thanks for everything. Like, you were awesome. You're super cool. All that stuff. I'm giving all of the equity to you. Thanks for the $6,000." Like, and it had, I think it had the Amulet of Disguise for Morgan with it as well.
I think so, yeah.
It was something like that. Like, there was two things that I've sent to Morgan at this point. It's the Amulet of Disguise, and there was a robe that I sent her too. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Many things?
Yes, it was
yeah.
a thing so she could pull
Yeah, the
like
patches
tools.
you can pull off. And
The
you know,
patches,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And then
But wait,
so
you got $6,000 for that. Why were you worried about money the last time when we were staying at the?
I wasn't. I was never worried about money.
I could have swore you said something that was like, oh, I don't know if
Rama was like $2,000 for this. Like, that's crazy. But at the same time, most of that money has actually been spent.
That's what I'm like, on
Yeah.
what?
I don't even remember, but that sounds like Toy Bar. Like, he's like, oh, I just got this fortune. What did you get out of it? Like some pizzas?
Oh, that's because I wasn't worried about money, because in my book I wrote down that one of the things I found was like these red dragon scale bags, and inside were like 3
cool.
rubies worth like 500 each, and there's like 1,700 platinum. And so I'm like, well, Merrick's loaded, and no one saw me get it, so I just wrote them down in my book. And I was like, Merrick's freaking loaded. So I was like,
so thinking about this, I don't think I've ever actually spent. It was like $2,000 or something that I had left over. I don't think I ever actually spent it. I think it was just one of those. Maybe it just didn't get transferred over from one of the sessions. On the book. But in our bag of holding, we have $2,000.
Yeah, so I was thinking about taking like,
but
1,000 of that platinum. And
I don't ever look at it. But there was an easier trade. Like Toy Bar's like, I have some really cool stuff. Like I don't.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Like my buddy Gilfick will tell me how to make one of. Well, rewrite me that book if I want him to. That's how I look at it. So he's like, hey, you want this book on how to do this? Like, we could trade. It doesn't have to be $2,000.
Well, that's what I would like. You were talking about that book, and I was like, it inspired me to where I was like, oh, that'd be something actually kind of cool. Is what if Merrick could get a hold of like a manual of iron golems to where he could create like, or he can get someone like, Gil or whoever, if Gil decides to not be a jerk anymore. Get like some artificers, and you could create an army of iron golems.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm just kind of like, oh my god, those are dark troopers.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Or when you mentioned it, I thought of Hellboy 2 and the Golden Army.
In the Golden Army, yeah, exactly.
That's
it's
good,
just like, oh my god, we could do that, because I sent you that picture of the Black Pyramid and the lava, and I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be like Castle Merrick or whatever. And I'm like,
the Vader's castle.
Yeah, like, oh my god, I could do this.
The contract stuff was fun for Toy Bar.
So yeah, why you had to leave for a short bit because you had to
I
take your daughter.
Yeah, some family stuff. Yep.
So one by one, the first person that he talked to was Rama, and he had, I don't know if he addressed her by her divinity or not.
I don't think he did.
No.
I just think he was like, hey, okay, cool, you're you, awesome. Yeah, he really didn't like.
What would his scroll have shown? Because she is a splinter of a god. I
had that not written. I have parts of what he knows of each of the characters. I don't think he knows that who she's a splinter of or what.
So he.
I think he knows that. I know. I have metagame wise for you guys. He knows that she's a celestial or whatever, and a very up and coming powerful one. Tove came by. He knows that she's very connected to the Yggdrasil. The world tree. Yep. The world tree. That she's basically in with the tree itself. And then Merrick came along, and I had it written down that basically he was like, just know the Aldnari, which is the name of the.
Well, that was the shield. It was
the shield of the
instead
Lord, the shield of instead of the Hidden Lord or whatever, which is a demon in Avernus, it's shield of the Aldnari Lord, which is Nordic for fire.
Okay.
So he goes, I just want you to know that I am good with the Aldnari, and you like, just kind of like,
yeah, just like
what?
Yeah.
Me and his lord are fine. I am still loyal to him.
Yeah, that really caught me off guard. I was kind of like, wait, what?
And that's an interesting concept because he's a demon.
Yeah, it's it's
the demon saying that he's still loyal to.
And in Nate's campaign, like he said, true demons are very, very rare and very, very powerful. So it's just kind of like, okay, if this guy's a Rakshasa, that means that he is a demon, which means he's powerful as hell, and he's loyal to Surtur.
Or they've made a deal.
Or they've made a deal of some sort. Yeah.
And now that Surtur's back, that deal has to be
either followed up on or it's still
been renewed automatically.
At least,
right?
And in my mind frame is Mahadi is very political.
Okay.
You know, he's very powerful, but he didn't get to be centuries old by fighting.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like Mythos in Highlander.
Yeah.
He's the oldest immortal and he runs away every chance he gets from a fight. So
Why would I put myself in a death situation?
yeah, why would I do
Let's
that?
get
I'm out. See ya.
But so yeah, but it, like even Rakshasas,
Mhm.
they, if you really look at their stat block, they have no combat spells. It's all
okay.
Yeah.
it's all kind of deception, perception, or persuasion,
And does
charming. And
doesn't it say like once they get like below like a quarter hit points, they like do everything they can to like
they
dip
plane
out?
shift out. Like,
Yeah, they're like
just like a
see ya.
mind flare.
Yeah, poof, gone. It's like yeah,
They just like bite.
okay.
I'd rather live than
Yeah.
stand on my courage.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna die on that hill. That hill ain't worth
And-
it.
Right.
I've had that happen in a previous campaign that you guys weren't a part of. Like they fought a mind flare and they got it down to about 20 HP, and he plane shifted out. I have never seen half a group almost rage out so hard.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
That's why you gotta do more damage, man.
Yeah.
Gotta do more spike damage.
Either that or like paralyze him or
something.
incapacitate him.
Yeah,
Right.
knock him out.
Who else questioned him on the contract while I was gone?
Rama did actually. She's
did
just
she?
like,
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah,
she
yeah,
questioned the thing.
she put the helmet on. Did that true
Oh
sight.
yeah, that was the catch with
That
her.
was-
She
yeah,
put
she
the
would
helmet
wait-
on. She's
yeah.
like, this guy has what type of eyes? And I described them as, they look very like cat or vulpine or
Yeah,
like
they-
fox.
He had
Okay.
yellow or orange.
Yeah,
they were yellow
which is
eyes
where I got
with
that
the slit,
inspiration
yeah.
from Renard,
Yeah,
because that character has
Yep.
those eyes.
Mm.
That was most of the inspiration for that.
Yeah.
Vile character, unfortunately, that TV series. But
Yeah.
so she puts the helmet on, and then I say, you just see this like very kind of fox like cat like Rakshasa, and I go, the big thing you see is like his hands are on the wrong arms.
Yeah.
But when you take the helmet off, they're back the way they like a normal person's hands are.
Yep. So yeah, so that immediately put her on edge, and then so she started like, I'm gonna read this thing, and I'm like, what's going on here? And then Tove just like winked at him and was like, oh hey, okay, cool. And he was like, oh okay, and he voluntarily dropped it for like a split
She
second.
goes, what? And
For we all saw like, oh god, and then he put it.
she flirted with him.
he did, yeah.
And he
Or she
got a
did.
little bit coy because I was like, "This, you imagine this dude doesn't get flirted with."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh," and then just drops it.
And zoop, all of a sudden he's a Rakshasa for like a second or two, and then the illusion goes back, and we all just kind of go, okay, this is a thing now.
Yeah, she did something. Honestly, I didn't expect her to do. She flirted with him, and I'm just like, "Oh." But Rama,
Sounds like a Tove thing to do.
Honestly, yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
but Vicky played Rama just like very like, she puts the helmet on. She's like, "Oh," and then she takes it off, and she goes, and I just slowly put it in my bag of holding.
Yeah, just like
and just
yeah.
Now, would Mahadi have known what that helmet would have done?
I don't know. I didn't roll for it, so
That would have been interesting because
That
she
would
could
have
have
been
just been like,
interesting, yeah.
"This is not what you look like. Show me what you look like for real.
But-
Show
Yeah,
us."
show us.
but getting
yeah.
in the Wonder Emporium was just like the tip of the iceberg for you guys. And
Oh,
the
yeah.
interesting,
Yeah.
because once you guys got in, it's an extra dimensional area. Obviously, as you guys can tell, there's no inner tent things. It's described as a carnival tent. You guys get inside the tavern. That's basically the equivalent of air conditioned.
Yeah, it's got air conditioning. Yeah.
There's all these
Yeah.
different people there.
Mhm,
That
Yep.
basically
Oh, God.
all of them were. I'll low key. They were all these different NPCs were different cameos from different campaigns.
Every one of them.
Oh,
Every
really?
one of them.
Oh
Very
wow.
cool.
Okay. All right.
That's awesome.
Some of them you guys know, some of you guys don't, but it's like I know how to roleplay every one of these NPCs or former player characters.
Well, when you were talking to almost said Kilk, sorry, to Toy Bar about talking with Higgy, I kind of sat there and like it did trigger in the back of my mind. I'm like, that name means something, and you were like, yeah, it's from the last campaign. I kind of went, and I leaned over to Tove and I literally whispered, I think that's oh my god, I think that's Azazel's apprentice. And she was like, is it? And then you gave me that sticky, and I'm like, I knew it. Oh my god, yeah.
So-
she's a
She
lich.
stole 10 grand from me.
In
No, it wasn't her that did it. It was it was the other.
what
two.
was it? In
Yeah.
our very first campaign, the first satyr that played in our campaign, I can't remember how he, in quotations, acquired her. She was a slave.
She was a slave and he
And-
freed her. But
I think in a game of, I think he was gambling, and you roll a gambling complication, and you get a slave in one of those complications.
that's what it was. It was a complication.
he's like-
yeah.
And I don't. The guy's logic is a little bit off, but he was a bard, and he goes, "I'm going to teach her to be a wizard." And I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah, you're gonna do what? You have no idea how wizards do anything. Why are you okay?
And so, yeah, it was a very slow and arduous journey for her to become a wizard, but she started basically picking up on necromancy, and she's this little 13, 14
Well,
year
it's
old.
because of
Yeah.
Ava's character.
Oh,
She was a freaking necromancer.
no,
that's
she was a draconic.
No, she
sorceress.
was a draconic sorceress. That's
Yeah.
right. Never mind.
She did play a necromancer, I thought.
Yeah.
It was the campaign that I wasn't involved in.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. That
Mhm.
first campaign, she played a draconic sorceress.
Yeah, that's where we got the
And that
dragon
was her
thing.
first kind of like character. And so I built it off two different characters that I knew she'd. And this is how you role play her. I go, she's the evil queen from Once Upon a Time, because that was a TV show that me and her both like.
Yep. That was a
And
good
it's
show.
also
That was a good show.
Daenerys from that. Put those two
from
together.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you put those two together, and that's how you play
Okay.
this
Wasn't the
character.
evil queen once upon a time? Wasn't that Maleficent?
No,
or was
that was
she-
the Snow White.
Oh, it was a Snow White one. Okay.
The Snow White Queen. Yeah.
Regina.
Yeah, because the main girl was Snow White, and then the sheriff was Prince Charming. That's who they were supposed to be.
Yeah, actually.
It was an interesting thing. That whole show was
That-
really
that whole
interesting.
show was good.
With Rumpelstiltskin, like he was
I actually liked the
awesome.
Rumpelstiltskin character.
Yeah,
I thought he was really good.
That guy played him fantastic.
Yeah. he did.
Robert, I can't remember his
He
last
did
name
good. Yeah.
for the life of me, but yeah, it was a real good TV show.
So
but-
even the dwarves,
Huh?
and everything, like they were all
Even the dwarves were cameos.
were cameos and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
Man, that's awesome.
I'm honestly, I
The-
cannot wait to play Rumlock in a campaign. I'm just fiending to play him.
The one off, the
Fiending,
dwarf that
wow.
was a one off or whatever character that was kind of off on his own or whatever. That's my brother's former character. He's a dwarf bard.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
that
very
was
cool.
always getting into all sorts of trouble, and if you guys would have questioned him, you guys won't see him again. Unfortunately, I'll tell you. But
No, that's
he
fine.
he made a deal with Mahadi, and he's paying it off.
Oh,
geez.
he's paying off
Was he,
again.
the,
but
was he the one that was like that delivered the room service?
yeah,
Oh, okay.
he's the one that was
Just
eating
like,
there and just
okay.
yeah.
There you go. Cool. Thanks, man.
yeah, that was cool. So did any of you guys talk to any of the people before I got back?
No, I don't think we did. I think we were all worried about getting rooms and getting cleaned up, and you know, a lot of like bookkeeping, essentially bathing, eating, all that
Okay.
kind of stuff.
So that was right
so-
where I kind of walked.
Yeah,
in.
then you kinda walked in,
Yeah,
yeah.
they ordered their rooms. They ordered all the extravagant rooms. They ordered
'cause
armor
we
and
got-
weapon cleaning, and
Yep.
was it? He
Just shelling
explained
out money.
Yeah, and he explained there's a bath or basically their version of a shower or rain enchantment. I put
Yeah.
it because I didn't know how to.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
How do you make a shower? And yeah,
Warm
but
rain.
no, that makes perfect. Yeah, makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Hot water rain enchantment. So then Toy Bar walks in.
And
After
yeah,
all
and
of
then-
you guys walk
and
away,
then-
like
yeah,
Toy
yeah.
Bar walks in, he does that thing with Mahadi,
Yeah,
which was fun. The contract
Yeah.
little thing was fun.
Yeah, like wait, you know what I am,
Right. Toy Bar didn't even know what he was, and so I roll a perception.
yeah,
And
and then that was the thing that popped up. Is like, well, what's this term?
yeah, what does Vaffy mean? Like
yeah,
I'm
what
just
is that?
I'm a satyr.
Like, not anymore.
So you talk to Mahadi, you get inside,
Yeah.
and then you go
I
and
made a
talk to.
deal with Mahadi.
Yeah. Oh, what was the deal?
What
If
was
I
the
remember
deal?
right.
I asked him to teach me how to enchant because he told me
Right,
that the
yeah.
Vaffy created enchanting, and I was
Yep.
like, oh well, I've
And-
just started dabbling.
Yeah, dabbling as in screwing it up.
Yeah, I was like, I messed up the captain's sword, but it's cool.
And then so you traded him basically a manual on how to make radiant golems for
Yes.
an enchantment book.
Yes,
It's
we
just-
we book traded instead
then
of $2,000's a lot of
you
money.
rolled
That is
what?
true. Yeah, it is a lot.
23 or 25 on persuasion. So he's just like,
I
okay,
rolled
straight
a
up
30.
a
Yeah.
30.
I rolled a nat 20
Yeah.
with a plus 10.
Yeah, that's just
I'm like, and then it's like, okay, straight up trade.
Yeah,
I figured that was the best.
it's the best outcome I could have asked for, right?
Yeah.
Minus him
And-
literally sitting down and teaching
yeah,
me,
and it's not
which
like
was
you're
never
sitting
going to
down
happen,
creating
right?
these golems, you know?
And that speaks to an interesting concept, which I said was never going to happen, right? Mahadi's never going to sit down with Toy Bar and be like, let me show you how to do this.
Yeah.
Even that's what Toy Bar wants.
yeah,
No, he-
Because
he's a politician. He's going to delegate that out.
Right. And I saw some stuff on like TikTok and stuff like that where they were talking about just because you roll a nat 20 on something,
Yes.
The guy was explaining it in this way. He said you walk up to this this guy who raises horses, and he's like, I persuade him to give me his horses. And he's like, oh, hello sir, it'll be 200 gold for the horse. And he's like, no, I want it for free. And he's like, roll persuasion. And so he rolls persuasion and gets a nat 20.
Okay.
And he's like, so I get it for free. And the DM's like, no.
No.
He's like, what do you mean? I rolled a nat 20. He's like, it doesn't matter. Explain to me how you would convince somebody whose entire living revolves around selling these animals that he's just going to give it to you for free for no cost. And he doesn't even know who you are. You're not doing him a favor. You're just showing up and saying, give me your horse. And
you're like, some rando. Yeah.
No, and you and me have both mutually played with players that
they literally thought that.
I just get what I want.
Yeah, I can change reality because I rolled a 20 on this.
And it's like, no, you're getting the best possible outcome
that he can give.
And it's like, and a lot of people will get mad at this, but I am of the school of thought that, like you guys just said, you roll a 20, you did the best you could possibly do.
Yeah.
You could still fail on a nat 20.
Oh yeah, for sure.
If you're going up against like an ancient silver dragon who's got like a plus like whatever, okay, you rolled a 20 and you had a skill, you had a +5. Okay, you got a 25. They just rolled a 30.
Right.
Guess what? They just beat you.
Or this way, I walk up to, random guy in the tavern.
Yeah.
And I say, hey, I want to convince this guy to off himself.
Oh yeah.
I rolled roll persuasion. I rolled a nat 20. See you later. Like, that's not how it works. He's not just gonna.
There's like 2 or 3 situations in the Baldur's Gate 3 game. Interesting enough, you can convince the demon down in the Underdark to kill himself because you've convinced him that this is the pact is trying to convince you to get you out of your pact. You have to kill yourself. Don't you see this is the answer here? And if you roll the right combination
multiple checks. I could see that.
Yeah.
But just one time, no.
Yeah.
Sorry, ain't gonna happen. Not.
But it's like God, I can't remember. Me and my girlfriend were playing it, and then like I looked at the like different outcomes for this thing because it's just like it always just leads straight into combat in 80% of the outcomes, and it's like these are a lot of people to fight. I go, is there a peaceful way to get through this? There is one. It's just incredible.
Right. You have to roll perfectly on every time.
Okay.
And it all comes down to if your person is trained in insight or not.
They kind of had that at the end of
which I like.
Yeah. At the end of Fallout New Vegas, you run up against the legate. And you're talking to him, and if you have like your persuasion and your charisma maxed out, you can just be like, "Oh, hey, dude, leave." And he will. And he'll be like, okay, I'm going to get my legion. I'm going to leave, but I'll be back with a bigger army. When I come back, I'll put you out of... But yeah, you can completely skip the boss fight of the game by saying, oh, hey, I'm super charismatic and convincing. You need to leave now.
Right.
And he will.
And, and he can just roleplay it as like he belves that you have something crazy getting ready to
he's
happen.
like, oh,
and that's why he's going to come back.
Yeah, he's like, okay, it is disadvantageous for me to fight you right now.
Yeah.
But I will come back because I have to.
Yep.
And he does. Yeah.
And I'll be honest, if anyone at our table were to lay the groundwork and do all that and then roll the check and it was good, that absurd stuff would happen.
Well, because if you put the effort into it.
If you've looked in towards the end of the Descent to Avernus book, there are multiple outcomes that can happen with Zariel.
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
And it explains them all out on how you get there, and it's just like, whoa, that's super cool.
Because I'm like with Merrick,
4, I think.
Yeah,
it lists out
sword, no sword. You take the sword, like someone else. Like it gets all weird, and then
because I'm gonna tell you guys right now, with the natives DM and as Toy Bar, Merrick is very knowing with Merrick knowing what he knows. He is very, very apprehensive about Gilfickle getting that sword and getting it back to Rathgrith.
Hey, Tabletop Gamers, this is Nathan. Thank you for watching this episode of the Hermit's Homebrew. Make sure to check out our regular episodes that come out every Wednesday. Please remember to subscribe, like, and follow the podcast as we continue to level up and grow.